Hi, Mercy. How you doing? All right. This is really fantastic written observations describing your experience with the assignment. So this is really fantastic. And I've said this before. You'll hear me say it again during the class too. I think a lot of instructors really learn. I learn a lot about what you're learning and your conceptual approach and your methodology just by reading your writing. So I think it's so important for students to include this written their written observations associated with any assignment. And I think that's important for any class, not just this class. I think most instructors will agree that we really learn a lot about your writing. In a lot of cases, we learn as much about what you're learning from your writing as we do from actually looking at the work. So I was really pleased to see this. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. Please keep up that great job with your written rationale as we move through the class and finalize the class. Okay, so we've got your web banner. Thank you so much for including a magazine ad as well as your banner. So let's go ahead and jump over to the magazine ad. First thing I want to do is take a look at the banner next to the magazine ad. And it's going to be tough, so I'm going to have to reduce the heck out of that. So as we can see, there's a very, very, very high degree of consistency between the headline, I'm sorry, between the magazine ad and the banner ad. So that really, really good stuff there. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into the banner ad. And now one of the things that's happening in the banner ad, I think, is this. First of all, you've got everything is handled beautifully. You're showing outstanding proficiency in all of the tasks associated with this assignment, including the software and the tools needed to complete the banner as well as the animation. So that was I was really pleased to see that. Now, one of the things we have is an issue with this, and one of the problems we have with the banner is the same problem we had with the initial um, magazine ad, in that, remember when you had her in the center? Now, there's something in design called the rule of thirds, and the rule of thirds indicates that, in essence, it says that basically center, the focal point should not be in the center of a composition. It creates too many problems. It's not the most interesting place to place a focal point, or really the rule of thirds dictates that if you take any composition and divide it into 3 columns and 3 rows, those intersections are the most interesting parts of the composition. So if you just Google rule of thirds, you'll be able to read up on that. And I think it's a really important thing for designers, specifically design students, to make themselves very familiar with. So in this particular case, I'm just going to reduce that a little bit. Okay, not that much, Michael. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, by moving this over in this composition, it really opened up a lot of area, and it's really created an interesting composition. So I bring that up because we have almost the same issue here. And this time it's a little bit more problematic because basically placing her, she's not in the center, but she's close to it. So what happens by placing her in the center, she's the focal point, right? So what happens is the viewer looks at this, and really this is basically, it's leftover space. It's very, very likely the viewer is not even going to look over here because everything is forced to the right of the focal point, and that's an issue. I think that the ad needs to work harmoniously. So every aspect of the layout should work in this harmonious manner, right? But right now we don't. We have kind of this dead area, and again, that is just caused by the habits of viewers where they look at the focal point. Now, don't forget, we read top to bottom, left to right. So it's feasible that once we look at the focal point, we go to the writing, go to the head, subhead, promotional call to action, then exit the page, completely missing everything over here. Plus, another thing is it almost looks like this page is split into two different sections. So what I would recommend is this is, one other comment is that you've got these storm clouds rolling into. I could think that, I would say that, let me give you a quick story. A few years ago, I was working for we were doing work. I was working for freelancing for an agency that was doing work for a Mexican resort, excuse me. And we were doing a campaign just like this. And one of the team members was showing images to the management team of the client, and one of the images came up with clouds, and actually some gray clouds in it, and they went nuts. They were like, get that, do not show clouds in our ad. And that makes sense. I mean, you don't want to show storm clouds in an ad that depicts beautiful sunny skies and gorgeous beaches, right? So this is a little bit problematic. Now, my recommendation would be this, and it would be really great practice too. So you have your original ad right now. I'm not real sure how far the ad, how much room you have on the side, but it looks like you have a considerable amount. That is the same. Yes, that is the same background image. So you do have some area to work with, as we can see here and here. So my recommendation would be this. Instead of cropping this whole thing, let's get her. Okay, so you come in here and you get her close up. So you crop her something like this. Actually, it'd be easier to show you here. Crop her something like this. Whoops, watch my cursor. Okay, so she's actually much bigger in the ad and she would be over here. Okay, at that point, you can reconfigure your layout. So try that. Just really try to get her out of being so close to the center of the ad. My only other recommendation is to give yourself a little bit of area here between where the um, uh, logo fits into the corner here. Right now, this is a logo that's got a purple background. So you can feasibly tuck that right into the corner there. But if you're going to do it all the way. Don't allow those little slivers to come through. Either pull it away, giving a good margin there, or get it tucked in there so that you don't see those little slivers of background through the logo. Okay, so at any rate, yeah, I think it's really, you're showing good job. Really good techniques here. I think that once we get that point, now let's say this is the ad right here. I'm just gonna let's do this. Let me do this. So I'm going to use this as kind of a straight edge, and let's say the ad starts right here. Okay, so like I said, she would be a lot bigger, so the storm clouds wouldn't be in there. But what I would do here is take this fun in the sun, enjoy fun with a free night stay, and then take this and bring it to 2 lines instead of 3, and then come over here and align it with something like maybe the I in the word in, and then just go ahead and have it animate like that. Then you could have your little drink over here next to her. Then maybe right above the logo located in beautiful St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, or even somewhere up here. But try that, and I think the whole idea here, as I said, is to try to activate this area that is basically dead space based on the fact that she is pushed almost to the center of the ad. Okay, listen, I hope my comments make sense. If not, let me know. I'll be glad to clarify. But I would like to see those changes reflected in your final banner ad. Excuse me. And if you want to resubmit here, that's great. I'll be glad to make further comments. But at the very least, I'd like to see these reflected in your final, which is due coming up here quickly during week 7. So we're getting ready to wrap things up here. So again, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'll be glad to make necessary clarifications. Great job. Thank you very much, Mercy.